Hi, so it's autumn, at least at the time of recording this video. When you will see it, it might be a completely different season, but it doesn't really matter too much for the content, to be honest. And speaking about today's content, I don't have my heavy backpack with my big telephoto lens this time. I'm equipped a bit lighter because the goal of today is landscape photography. I'm here in a really nice forest and I want to take pictures of this creek that you might hear a bit in the background to my right. So today's video is just a bit about how I proceed, how I frame the picture, what equipment do I take with me, like camera, lens, tripod, and filters like a polarizing filter, neutral density filter, and so on. So stay tuned. So a few words about the planning. My two favorite seasons for photographing creeks and rivers is autumn and spring. I think autumn is quite clear with all the yellow and orange leaves, and spring can also be very nice if all the leaves are in this fresh green and very intense color that looks on some pictures almost like too much. But that's really nice, but that of course means you don't only have to hit the right time of the year, you also need to be at the right location. And this is why I'm at a new spot. Usually I live a bit more in the mountains, and there we have the northern spruce that is like dominating the forest. And obviously as a coniferous tree, this is not turning into nice colors in autumn. So this is why I moved a bit more in the lowlands where we have beech that is dominating the forest. And we have really nice colors now. Many of the leaves are already on the ground, unfortunately. I'm maybe a week or so too late, but still there on these rocks that are mostly covered by these super green mosses. So there is a kind of a strong color contrast between the green moss and the red-brown leaves. It's very beautiful, but also a bit dangerous because especially with this wet weather that we have now, it's quite slippery, so pay attention here. But still there is a reason why I don't go with sunny weather, and that is just with sunny weather you have quite strong contrast and the colors don't look so intense. Especially if it was raining a bit overnight and it's still overcast, you can get really intense colors, especially if you use a polarizing filter. I will explain a bit more after. Finding the right location is not always easy, so I have a quite beautiful creek behind me now, but the problem is there is just too much happening in the background. I don't know how well you can see it, but there is quite some fallen trees, which is nice. Also from an ecological point of view, this dead wood is very important for the forest. But for the picture now, it's tricky. I don't have a really nice foreground. I'm looking to some stones, maybe with some ferns or grasses in the foreground. And then a nice bit cleaner background. And here it's quite tricky for me. So I think I will keep going and look for a better location. When I take pictures of creeks or waterfalls, I often like to go really into the water to have a better perspective, a better angle. And then what I tend to do is keep my backpack somewhere safe here on the shore and only take the essentials. So my tripod, ball head, then the camera, and usually a wide angle lens, like now the 14-35. Before I was using the 16-35 a lot. And that's basically it. A few more important things. So I like to use an L bracket just to be able to switch quickly between vertical and horizontal shooting on the tripod, on the ball head. And in the front of the camera I have a polarizing filter. In my opinion, the most essential tool here for landscape photography. I will talk more about it in a minute. And depending on how bright it is on the outside, you might also want to consider a neutral density filter, but right now this is not the case. So I would say let's start. I will leave the backpack, also where I have a second lens, like a 70-200, spare batteries and everything. I will leave that here and go a bit in there. So I think that's a pretty nice spot just here. So in front we have a bit this line of stones and leaves are stuck on the stone. So this gives a nice kind of foreground. And in the background there is of course the main attraction, the waterfall. So in the beginning I was getting a tiny bit closer to the water, to these stones, and trying to capture it with a wider angle because then the stones appear bigger in the frame. The problem is, if you do that, the waterfalls also become smaller and it's already quite far away. So I tried now to step, just 1 or 2 steps back and don't use 16 millimeters, but rather 20 or something, so that the waterfall is still sufficiently big in the picture, at least for my liking. And then a really important aspect here is the polarizing filter. So if you turn it, you can really remove a bit the reflection in the water. You can see in the water has more colors. And also on the stones and on the leaves in the surrounding, you will just have more intense colors, and that's something you cannot just fake with Photoshop. A polarizer filter is for me the #1 tool you need for taking pictures of rivers. I mean, apart from the obvious tripod and camera. So I'm quite happy with how I framed the picture now. I tried not to include too much of the stuff above the waterfall because, as you might see, it gets bright quite quickly and then the contrast is just too much for my liking. So basically I chose a shutter speed now of 1 second, that we see a bit the movement in the water. I know not everybody likes that, but up to you. I kept the ISO at 100 for obvious reasons. I want to have the best image quality. And then the f-stop, I think f11 would be good enough that everything is in focus. But it's actually a bit too bright at the moment, so I just stopped down to f13. That's still quite good. I put focus a bit in the middle of the frame, or the first third or something. Then I make a shot. I have the 2 seconds timer that I don't introduce camera shake. And then I quickly check the picture. I check if the histogram is fine, and with the blinkies if the exposure is okay. And then I tend to zoom in the closest part of the picture, which is here. Look at some stones, because obviously the water will not be sharp. The stones look okay. And then I go to the top of the picture, and also here the sharpness is really good. So f13 was sufficient. I think that's the most important part for the camera settings. I shoot RAW, and for landscape photography I tend to shoot on both cards in my camera just to have a backup. And also changing the perspective or the shooting height a bit can help a lot and create completely different pictures. So here I would just recommend that you try different things. So that's almost everything I wanted to say about taking pictures of waterfalls and creeks. One last tip: if it would rain today, I'm equipped with my shower cap. So this is a really cheap protection against rain, but it works quite effectively. You can just put it over the camera, depending on your setup, even a tiny bit over the lens. Just pay attention, if you have a extreme wide angle lens, you will see this if you put it over the lens hood. So be a bit more careful there. And the nice thing is it's cheap and you can still see all the buttons of the camera perfectly. And with this I will say goodbye and see you next time.